So you might have seen the social media page or saw a YouTube channel come up and thought, what is Novel Legacy Publishing? It's what I'm calling my publishing efforts in self-publishing books so that I can invest in people's lives by fueling their information and imagination with the books that I write and the content that I make online here. And you might say, okay, it's a clever name for a company or whatnot, or for your channel and your efforts, whatnot, but why are you really doing this? I really have three big reasons of why I want to try writing books and self-publishing books so that I can help people out. And that's really my first point, is to invest in people's lives that I will never meet. What brought this to my mind was, we all have people in our lives who have really impacted our lives in a positive and negative way. Whether it's your parents, your grandparents, other family members, your pastor, minister, whatever you call them, college professor. We all have people in our lives that come in and just change our lives so that we're never the same, whether it's in a good way or in a bad way. So many people have impacted my life in a positive way that I will never meet in person. Names come to mind. John Maxwell has really helped me learn about leadership through all the books that he's written, and I've got to read a bunch more of his works. Warren Wiersbe has really helped me in my preaching efforts and just in my spiritual life through all of his commentaries that he's written, the books that he's written. Just really helps me perfect my craft, learn how to preach, and learn more about the Bible and all of that. But unfortunately, I'll never have the ability to meet him here on earth to tell him how much he's changed my life. Brian Jakes is a great author that I grew up on his Redwall books, and I'm still trying to collect all of his Redwall books because it was great to my imagine that animals can talk and reason and have adventures and all that stuff. That was just amazing to me. I loved it as a kid, and partially because what got me started on this path was when I was very little in church, to not be a complete ADHD tornado and terrorize everybody in the place. I would just sit down and write out stories on a notepad where there's dolphins swimming around with sharks on an adventure, or badgers trying to find a pine cone or something. I've always loved animals, and kind of wrote some stories here and there along those paths. And Brian Jakes came along and just did it so much better than my childhood self would be able to do. He helped me grow a love for reading, and sadly I'll never have the opportunity to meet him here on this earth and tell him that. Which brings me to another person, and that is these books. I'm telling you right now, I would not be reading at all, much less writing books, if it wasn't for Mary Pope Osborne right here and these books that she wrote. I did not like reading as a child. It was very boring, very long. Why should I stare at this thing and flip pages and stare at ink on a page? It took a lot of focus that I didn't want to spend on it. But these books really, and now I look at them like that big a font with all that artwork and all that stuff, and I struggled to read these as a child. But that's exactly what got me into reading, was short chapters, fun, imaginative things. And you can see this brother and sister go on a lot of adventures just through a magic treehouse that was filled with books. I mean, how great is that? They saw dinosaurs, met a tiger in a forest, and did Christmassy things. It's been so long since I've read these things, but they all did that through a magic treehouse that they traveled through time and met all these things with, and it really helped grow my imagination and grow my love for reading. And I would not be reading today, much less trying to write my own books and everything, if it was not for Mary Pope Osborne and these books. And that impact is the biggest reason why I'm trying to start my own, writing my own books and getting them out there to help change people's lives and impact their lives, whether it's through imagination or instruction that will change their lives for the better, just like the people that I've mentioned here. Another area is kind of less of a reason, is just to give a constructive output for my curiosity and my creativity. I am a curious soul. When I get a question that's in my head and I don't know the answer to it, like, why do we have fingernails? They seem like kind of like, I mean, some people find fashion in them, but like, why are they useful? Sometimes I'll go down a rabbit hole of studying it, trying to find a podcast, and just to answer that question. As for me, somebody who believes in the Bible and is trying to teach the Bible to others, there's a lot of information in that book that either we will never understand or is just difficult to understand based on the concepts that are given there and taught there. A subject will come in my mind, like, what does the Bible actually say about magic and sorcery? And I'll go dig that up, and I'll have plenty of questions like that. Why did this happen? Why is this in here? And why do we have the story about Jacob's wives fighting over the mandrakes? Why do I have to read over that every year? You know, questions that just come up in your mind. And writing books gives me a creative outlet for those questions that come into my mind, like the first book I'm trying to write, Individual Christianity. Am I responsible for my own beliefs and my own study of the Bible, or is that for my pastor or priest or minister to decide for me? Questions like that. Also, I have this insane creativity, as you can tell in my previous example about the adventure with dolphins and badgers and all that stuff. I am constantly daydreaming and working up stories in my mind, sometimes not even knowing I'm doing it. And writing novels is a way to maybe see if other people enjoy those daydreams that I have, and just maybe my stories can make somebody's life better. And that's why I want to write these books, so that I can help somebody out instead of just having a bunch of stories spinning around in my head. And it'll give me, and the last point is, yes, I want church to be my career. Eventually I will work for a church or whatnot. And that's my main goal in life, is to minister like that. Self-publishing books could give me a decent side hustle to still provide and help people out in the same way I'm ministering in the church. Because I don't know how many of you know, but there are plenty of pastors in the United States who are paid at or below poverty wages. It's not uncommon that most of the pastors, ministers, whatever you want to say, whatever you call them in your church structure, they either have full-time jobs and they minister, or they minister and have side gigs that really suck up their time, or they just live in poverty with the scraps that the church can afford to give them. And so self-publishing my books will give me a decent side hustle, along with doing that's still in the same vein of work that I'm doing. So those are my purposes in writing. That's why I am starting this novel, Legacy Publishing. I will share my journeys with you here and on my social medias that I'll put down below. If you like this and you like my message and you believe in what I am trying to do, then do all the internet things. Share my message around, share this video, comment on the video, just talk about what I'm trying to do and see if other people like what I'm trying to do here. Thank you all for your time, and I'll see you in the next video.